Hey, what's going on everybody, and welcome back to another Darkfall tutorial. In today's video I'm going to tell you why you should learn Python. Now Python is a coding language if you don't already know, and by using Python we can actually create a whole bunch of shortcuts, workflow improvements and things that we tend to do on a regular basis we can actually speed up with a click of a button. So what does that mean for the average Blender user? Well, imagine you do the same thing over and over again. One of them is creating materials. And of course you can just save a project file full of those shaders, but it's a lot simpler and a lot easier to have an add-on which you could create yourself. For example, I've got the shader add-on library here. We can go through and choose a bunch of different materials and apply them to whatever object that we want. So with this object selected, I can go ahead and select any one of these materials and apply it. And we can see we now have gold. If we change this to rendered view, so again it saves a whole bunch of time. Rather than recreating these materials over and over again, I can just click one button and apply it to the object. Again, we have more controls. I mean, we can set whatever we want. We can add some roughness, make it super shiny or super rough. That's entirely up to you. Of course, like I mentioned before, you could save a whole bunch of different shaders to a file and then import them if you want separately. But by using Python and creating this add-on, I can select any shader that I want and also have a whole bunch of different options to choose from should I need it. And again, this is just one example. If you repeat the process of any action over and over again, then you might want to consider learning Python just to automate that process. If we just load up another example, let's say we wanted to add some mist. So go ahead and render this, see how it looks. It looks quite boring. But if we wanted to add some mist to this, we could do the same thing. Instead of going through all the different settings and setting this up, then go into the compositor and then arranging all the nodes, it's far simpler just to add a panel with our magic button and then we click it and there we go, we've got some mist. Again, we have some options if we need it. Go ahead and render this. By default it's far too misty, so we can go to the compositor. And as you can see, all the nodes have already been arranged for us. We didn't need to do anything. Let's also enable backdrop so we can see what we're doing. So the way this works, we just need to go to the color ramp and play around with these handles here. And if I just move these around so you can see it a bit easier. So yeah, we can drag this handle and bring it forward, which would make it a lot more mistier, as you can see in the distance there. Or we could push it back and bring these details back in. Same thing for the midpoint. And if we don't want any mist in the foreground, go ahead and select this color and change it to black. But yeah, that's just another example of using Python to create these quick actions or these automated steps, so you don't have to repeat the process over and over again. So that's why I think you should learn Python. It is one of the questions I get asked a lot. When it comes to learning Python, it's actually not as hard as many think. I do have a video on the introduction to scripting, so if you want to check it out, there will be a link in the description. Definitely helpful to use Python. You don't have to be an intense developer to code these things. I mean, when I first started, it was with this Darkfall VFX nodes add-on. It was literally just a couple of different tools that I made just to help speed up my own workflow. Now many of you guys are using it and it's grown into something that's really quite impressive from my point of view, seeing it grow from zero. So it went from 1 or 2 effects to a whole bunch more. If you want to check this out, there is also a link to my blog post. You can go ahead and see all the different effects and things. But again, it's once you know the basics of scripting, you can create your own add-ons and your own magic buttons, as it were. So yeah, hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, be sure to hit that like button. As always, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.